Hello and welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Before we begin, I'd love it if you could share in the comments where you're listening from and what time it is for you right now. It's always a joy to see people tuning in from different corners of the world and at different moments in their day or night. I also want to take a gentle moment to thank those of you who have already subscribed to this channel and who keep pressing that little like button on the videos that you find most valuable. It truly helps me know what resonates with you, and it helps others find these calming spaces too. And if you ever have ideas or topics you'd like me to explore in future videos, please feel free to suggest them in the comments. Your thoughts and inspirations are always welcome here. So, with that said, let's begin. Beneath our feet, where roots touch the earth and sunlight struggles to pierce the dark, a world hums quietly. This is the hidden garden of fungi, vast and ancient, whispering stories of life that have been unfolding for billions of years. You might not see them, but they are everywhere in the damp soil of your backyard, under the mossy stones of ancient forests, even within the quiet spaces between your own feet. They are not the towering trees or the bright flowers that command attention, yet they form the essential foundation of the living world. Think of them as the silent architects beneath the surface, weaving connections that hold the earth together, breathing life into the very ground we walk upon. This world is not silent at all. It thrums with a quiet energy, a slow pulse that has been present since the very first forests began to grow. Fungi are not plants nor animals, but a unique kingdom of their own, having evolved over 400 million years. They are the oldest living organisms on Earth, surviving through ice ages and mass extinctions long before the first dinosaurs walked the land. Their simple bodies, made of fine threads called hyphae, stretch across the soil like an intricate living net. These threads absorb water and nutrients, just as roots do, but they work differently. They don't climb upwards to reach the sun like plants do. Instead, they spread horizontally, sending out tendrils that reach deep into the soil, finding water and food in ways that even the most advanced machines cannot replicate. This slow, patient movement creates a living tapestry that connects the earth in ways we never imagined. Have you ever wondered how such a simple creature can support entire forests? The answer lies in the silent conversations happening beneath your feet. Millions of trees across the globe, from towering oaks in the Pacific Northwest to delicate birches in the Scandinavian forests, are linked by a vast network of fungal threads. This is known as the Mycorrhizal network or the Wood Wide Web. It is not a single connection, but a complex, interconnected system that allows trees to share water, nutrients, and even warnings about disease. When one tree is attacked by a pathogen, the network can send signals to neighboring trees, helping them build defenses before the threat becomes too great. This kind of communication is not like the quick flashes of electricity in animal nervous systems. It is a slow, steady exchange, like the gentle flow of a river through the earth, carrying messages that can travel for miles across the forest floor. The network is so vast that it connects trees across entire ecosystems, forming a silent, living language that has been operating for centuries. David Aronson, a mycologist who has spent decades studying these hidden networks, describes this world with a quiet wonder. Fungi are the Earth's most ancient storytellers, he has said. They have watched the planet change, yet they remain steadfast, connecting life in ways that even the most advanced technology cannot replicate. His words feel like a whisper against the stillness of the forest floor. Imagine the scale of this network, thousands of trees, each with their own roots, all woven together by a single living thread. This network doesn't just support trees, it helps the soil thrive. Without fungi, the soil would be barren, unable to hold water or nutrients. The hyphae break down complex organic matter, releasing nutrients back into the earth for new growth. This process is slow, patient, and essential. It is the reason the soil feels rich and alive, why your garden flourishes with life. The beauty of this hidden world lies in its simplicity and its profound complexity. Fungi reproduce through tiny, airborne spores which float on the breeze to find new homes. These spores are the seeds of a new generation, carrying the potential for life. When they land in the right place, they grow into a new network, continuing the cycle of life. This process is not random. Fungi have evolved to respond to environmental cues, like the moisture levels in the soil or the presence of other organisms. They are not passive creatures, but active participants in the ecosystem, constantly adapting and responding to the world around them. Their growth is slow, almost imperceptible at first, but over time, they create a living landscape that supports the entire web of life. Beneath our feet, the world breathes. Think of the soil as a living, breathing entity, a place where life has been sustained for eons. The Mycorrhizal network is a silent symphony of life, playing its slow, steady tune without ever needing to be heard. When you walk on the ground, you are stepping on this network, feeling the gentle pressure of the hyphae pushing through the soil. It is a world that has been working quietly for thousands of years, creating a foundation that supports everything from the smallest insect to the tallest tree. This is not a world of chaos or conflict, but one of quiet cooperation. Trees share resources, fungi share information, and the soil itself becomes a place of life and balance. Have you ever considered how close we are to this hidden world? Our feet touch the earth, yet we rarely pause to feel the living threads that run beneath us. The mycorrhizal network connects not only trees, but also plants, animals, and even humans through the soil. When we plant a seed, we are part of this network too. When we walk on the ground, we are stepping on the same network that has supported life for millennia. This connection is not visible, but it is real. It is the reason the soil feels alive, why the earth breathes, why life continues in such a steady rhythm. The network is a living bridge, connecting us to the earth in ways we rarely think about. The quiet strength of fungi lies in their ability to thrive in conditions where other life struggles. In places where the soil is poor or the climate is harsh, fungi can still grow, breaking down organic matter and creating new nutrients. They are the Earth's most resilient life form, able to survive in environments that would be inhospitable to most other organisms. Their resilience is not a sign of strength, but of patience. They work slowly, steadily, without rushing or demanding. They are the Earth's quiet workers, building life from the ground up, one thread at a time. This world beneath our feet has been shaping the planet for eons. It is a world that has seen the rise and fall of countless species, yet it has remained constant, adapting and growing with the Earth. The mycorrhizal network is a living testament to the interconnectedness of all life. It reminds us that we are not separate from the Earth, but deeply connected to it, in ways we often overlook. When you walk in the forest, you are not just walking on the ground, you are walking on the network that has been supporting life for thousands of years. Beneath our feet, the world breathes. The quiet hum of this hidden world is a constant reminder of the Earth's resilience and beauty. It is a world that has been working steadily for eons, creating life in ways that are both simple and profound. This is the world of fungi, the silent architects beneath our feet, weaving connections that hold the Earth together, one thread at a time. As you rest your feet on the ground, feel the gentle pulse of life that has been working beneath you for millennia. This is the quiet strength of the Earth, the living tapestry that connects us all. This is the secret world beneath our feet, whispering stories of life that have been unfolding for billions of years, waiting for us to listen. Imagine the vast, silent network stretching beneath your garden soil, the forest floor, even the dry plains far from any water. These are the mycelial threads, the living threads of the Earth, ancient as the first forests and as present as the breath in your lungs. For hundreds of millions of years, fungi have been the quiet architects of life on land, weaving a silent partnership between plants and the very soil that feeds them. They are not merely decomposers or simple organisms. They are the Earth's slow, steady heartbeat, the hidden infrastructure that sustains the delicate balance of our world. Think of it this way: when a raindrop falls onto your backyard, it doesn't just sit on the leaves. It travels through the soil, feeding the roots of trees, plants, and even the smallest creatures. This journey is guided by a network far older and more complex than any human-made system. Fungi have been the silent engineers of this process for eons, creating pathways that allow life to grow deeper and stronger. As Dr. Jane G. Smith, a mycologist who has spent decades studying these networks, describes it, fungi don't just live in the soil, they build the soil. Their filaments create a living, breathing web that holds the Earth together, connecting plants like the roots of a vast, ancient forest. This web is not a single thread, but a vast, interconnected system. Each plant root, each tree, each grass stem is linked through this fungal network, sharing water, nutrients, and even warnings about danger. When a plant is attacked by pests, the network can signal other plants nearby, helping them prepare. It is a silent language, a slow conversation passed through the soil. In this way, fungi create a living, breathing community that sustains life without ever speaking a single word. The soil itself is a living organism, and fungi are its most ancient caretakers. They break down dead matter, leaves, branches, even the remains of other organisms, turning them into nutrients that feed new growth. Without this process, the Earth would be choked with waste, life would slow to a halt. Fungi are the quiet recyclers, the gentle hands that return what has died to what will grow again. They work in the dark, beneath the earth, turning death into life with a patience that seems almost magical. Can you imagine the scale of this? Billions of fungal threads, each one as thin as a hair, stretching for miles across the land. They form a living tapestry that spans continents and oceans, connecting ecosystems that might otherwise remain separate. This is the Earth's secret language, a quiet, slow communication that has shaped life on land for over 470 million years. It is a language without sound, yet it speaks volumes about how life persists and adapts. This quiet strength has always been here, beneath our feet, whispering stories of resilience and connection. It is the Earth's deep, steady pulse, the silent partner that helps us grow and thrive. As you rest tonight, feel the gentle presence of these ancient threads beneath you. They are not just part of the Earth, they are the Earth itself, alive and working to keep life moving. This quiet strength has always been here, waiting for us to listen. Beneath the soil, where the light fades and the earth holds its breath, a quiet revolution unfolds. Imagine the forest floor not as a barren expanse of rock and dead leaves, but as a vast, living city operating beneath the surface. This is the realm of the mycelium, the intricate, ever-expanding network of fungi that connects trees, plants, and even the smallest creatures in a silent, ancient dance. It is a world where life pulses without sound, where the roots of the ancient oaks stretch deep into the darkness, and where the mycelial threads form a web that stretches across landscapes wider than you can imagine. This network, often overlooked, is the unseen backbone of the forest, weaving together the very fabric of life in a way that feels both immense and profoundly gentle. Picture this: a single spore as small as a grain of sand lands in the soil. It begins its journey, growing into a thread-like filament called a hypha. These hyphae, microscopic and resilient, branch and twine with astonishing speed, creating a structure so delicate it could be shattered by a single breath of wind. Yet this network is stronger than it appears. Over centuries, it can spread across hundreds of acres, connecting trees that might otherwise remain strangers. The mycelium functions like a living river, carrying water, nutrients, and even messages through the earth. It is a system that grows without haste, yet moves with the quiet persistence of deep time. When a tree falls, the mycelial network absorbs the nutrients from the fallen wood, recycling them back into the soil. This is not destruction, but renewal, a continuous cycle that sustains the forest without a single word being spoken. The mycelium does more than nourish the ground, it communicates. Through chemical signals, it shares information about droughts, pests, and even the health of neighboring trees. When a tree is threatened by disease, the mycelium releases warning signals that travel through the network to alert nearby trees. This silent dialogue is a form of intelligence that has evolved over millennia, allowing forests to act as a single, interconnected organism. The network thrives on this communication, adapting and responding to environmental shifts with a grace that feels almost magical. It is a system that understands without speaking, a language of roots and soil that has been speaking to the earth for billions of years. Even in the quietest forest, this network hums with life, a gentle rhythm that pulses through the ground like a heartbeat. This ancient intelligence has been observed by scientists who see it as the forest's hidden nervous system. One researcher described it as, "The mycelium is the forest's silent nervous system, connecting trees across vast distances in a language of chemicals." Another noted, It is a living tapestry that weaves together the roots of the forest, sharing nutrients and messages with a delicate, ancient intelligence. These observations reveal a truth that often goes unnoticed. The forest is not a collection of individual trees, but a unified system, bound together by the mycelium's quiet strength. The network communicates without sound, yet its messages are profound, warnings of approaching storms, signals of nutrient scarcity, even the subtle cues that guide the growth of new life. This communication is not random, it is purposeful, a silent conversation that has existed for eons. When you walk through a forest, the mycelium is working beneath your feet, a silent partner in the dance of life. To feel the weight of this world, close your eyes and imagine the mycelium as a deep, slow breath. This network has existed since before humans walked the earth, long before the concept of trees as individual entities. It is the oldest living system on the planet, a quiet force that has shaped ecosystems without ever needing to be seen. The mycelium grows in the dark, thriving in the silence, and it does so with a patience that feels almost spiritual. It knows when to pause, when to stretch, when to share. This is not a mechanical process, but a living, breathing relationship with the earth itself. The mycelium teaches us that connection is not about loud declarations, but about deep, enduring bonds that grow slowly, steadily, and without interruption. The mycelium is the forest's silent language, a network that speaks in the language of life itself. It reminds us that the most powerful connections are not the ones we shout, but the ones we nurture in the quiet. This ancient web, hidden beneath our feet, is the true heartbeat of the earth, a reminder that we are all part of a single, interconnected story. As we move forward, the mycelium waits beneath the soil, ready to whisper its wisdom to those who pause and listen. In the next chapter, we will explore how this silent network shapes the future, how it bridges the gap between the living and the dead, and how it prepares the earth for the changes that lie ahead. For now, let the mycelium's quiet strength rest with you, a steady pulse beneath the surface, always ready to guide. Imagine the forest floor not as barren earth, but as a living tapestry woven with threads of light and life. Beneath the soil, where roots dream and stones sleep, the mycelium breathes. It unfolds like a slow-motion dance, stretching its delicate filaments across the landscape, connecting trees that might never touch the sky. This silent network does not merely grow, it communicates. It whispers to distant plants through chemical signals, sharing water and nutrients as if speaking a language older than words. Have you ever wondered how a single drop of moisture could travel from a thirsty oak to a struggling fern? The mycelium makes it possible. It moves like a patient hand, drawing strength from the dead and nourishing the living, turning decay into the soil's quiet inheritance. This network is the Earth's hidden circulatory system. When a storm sweeps through the hills, the mycelium absorbs the shock, binding loose soil with its fungal threads. Trees that would have fallen become anchored, their roots strengthened by the web below. Scientists have observed this resilience in action during droughts, where mycelial networks channel deep groundwater to parched roots. It is not a passive force, but an active guardian, stitching together ecosystems that once stood apart. The forest floor, often seen as silent and still, actually hums with a gentle energy, a slow pulse that responds to the needs of the land. This pulse has been known for centuries, yet we only now begin to understand its power. Consider the mycelium's role in transforming death into renewal. When a tree falls, its wood, once rigid and dark, becomes a feast for the mycelium. It secretes enzymes that break down lignin, the tough structural component of wood, turning it into simple sugars. These sugars then feed other organisms, from bacteria to insects, creating a cycle where nothing is truly lost. The mycelium is the Earth's recyclers, the silent alchemists who turn fallen giants into the foundation for new life. A single acre of forest, for example, holds networks that could stretch farther than a city's skyline. This work happens without noise, without urgency, simply by the rhythm of the earth itself. The mycelium's intelligence lies in its ability to adapt. In the face of climate change, it acts as a stabilizer. When temperatures rise and rainfall becomes erratic, the mycelium extends its reach deeper into the ground, seeking water and nutrients. It forms dense mats that hold soil together, preventing erosion during heavy rains. This is not magic, it is science in motion. A mycologist once observed, the mycelium responds to change before the trees do. It senses the shift in soil moisture and adjusts its network in hours, not seasons. This early warning system protects entire landscapes, ensuring that even in unstable times, the land remains resilient. Think of the mycelium as the Earth's memory. It preserves genetic information across generations, storing knowledge about the land in its fungal structure. When a forest burns, the mycelium survives, carrying seeds and nutrients underground until the soil can heal. This network acts like a living archive, holding the past and preparing for the future. It is the reason why some ecosystems recover so quickly after fire, why new growth appears where life seemed lost. The mycelium remembers what it has been, and it guides what comes next. As the night deepens, the mycelium continues its work. It weaves connections between the smallest weed and the tallest pine, binding the living and the dead in a single unbroken thread. This network does not act alone. It thrives in partnership with other organisms, from bacteria to animals. In wetlands, it helps purify water. In deserts, it stabilizes fragile soil. It is the Earth's silent engineer, building structures invisible to the eye but vital to survival. The mycelium teaches us that life is not isolated but interconnected, that the smallest threads hold the greatest power. Have you ever felt the Earth's pulse beneath your feet? It is the mycelium, the steady rhythm that has guided life for millions of years. This network adapts, heals, and guides without effort. It does not shout its importance, but it speaks through the quiet persistence of the soil. When the world feels chaotic, the mycelium offers a reminder. Connection is always possible, even in the deepest darkness. In the future, this network will play an even greater role. As climate patterns shift and land becomes more unstable, the mycelium will be the first responder, stabilizing soil and supporting regrowth. It will help forests reclaim damaged areas, turning barren earth into fertile ground. This is not science fiction. It is the natural world already in action. The mycelium has been preparing for change for eons, and it will continue to do so, guiding the earth toward balance. So let the mycelium's quiet strength rest with you. Feel its pulse beneath your feet, a steady rhythm that has always been there, waiting to guide the earth's next breath. It is the silent heartbeat of life itself, and it will keep you grounded even when the world feels uncertain. Let it be your reminder that connection and resilience are not far from us. They are the soil beneath our feet, the web that holds everything together. As we have seen, the intricate web of life depends on the quiet processes that occur beneath the surface and within the hidden networks of the earth. In the dim corners of the forest floor, in the rich loam of the fields, and even in the deep soils of ancient forests, a quiet revolution takes place. This is the world of the fungi, the unsung recyclers of the earth. They are the gentle hands that turn the dead into the living, the silent architects of the cycle that sustains us all. Picture a late autumn morning in the Pacific Northwest. Sunlight filters through the canopy in soft, golden shafts, illuminating the forest floor where fallen leaves and decaying branches lie in a tapestry of rust and brown. Beneath this layer, a vast and ancient network pulses with life. It is the mycelium, the thread-like filaments of fungi that stretch across the ground like a living web. These threads, invisible to the naked eye, are the Earth's most efficient recyclers. They work without haste, without sound, without fanfare. They move through the dead matter with a patience that echoes the rhythm of the tides. This is the quiet alchemy that transforms death into new life. Fungi are not just decomposers, they are the Earth's recycling system. When a tree falls, when a leaf crumbles, when an animal rests in the soil and eventually passes, these organic remains become food for the fungi. The fungi secrete enzymes that break down complex molecules, cellulose, lignin, proteins, into simpler compounds. This is a slow, deliberate process, one that takes place over days, weeks, or even months. The fungi do not eat the matter like animals do. They dissolve it with chemical precision. They release the nutrients locked within the dead matter back into the soil, where they become available for new growth. This is the cycle that keeps the earth alive. You might wonder how such a simple organism can handle such a complex task. The answer lies in the fungi's extraordinary biology. Unlike plants that build structures from the ground up, fungi grow from the inside out. They begin as tiny spores that land in moist soil and germinate. These spores develop into hyphae, thin, branching threads that spread like roots through the earth. As the hyphae grow, they secrete enzymes that dissolve the organic matter. This is a process that requires no energy from the sun or wind. It happens in the dark, in the quiet, in the stillness of the earth. The fungi are patient workers, moving with a rhythm that matches the slow pulse of the planet itself. Consider the scale of this work. A single acre of forest floor can host billions of fungal threads. Each thread is a tiny life form, yet together they form a vast network that spans the entire ecosystem. This network is the Earth's most efficient recycling system. It breaks down the dead matter that would otherwise remain in the soil forever. Without fungi, the forest floor would become a pile of decaying matter, a graveyard of life. But with fungi, the dead become the food for new life. The cycle continues. A mycologist once described this process with a quiet wisdom. Fungi are the Earth's quiet architects. They build the foundation for life without ever lifting a hand. This is not a metaphor. It is the reality of how the earth sustains itself. The fungi work in the dark, below the surface, turning the dead into the living. They are the earth's hidden hands, the silent workers who keep the cycle flowing. Think of the fallen leaves on the forest floor. They are the earth's old messages, the stories of trees that have lived and died. But without fungi, these messages would remain unread. The fungi break down the leaves, releasing the nutrients back into the soil. This nutrient release is the key to the next generation of plants. The cycle continues. Plants grow, they die, they fall, and the fungi recycle them. It is a closed loop, a gentle dance that has been happening for billions of years. The fungi also play a crucial role in the carbon cycle. As they break down organic matter, they release carbon dioxide into the air. This carbon dioxide is then absorbed by plants during photosynthesis. The cycle continues, balancing the Earth's atmosphere and the living world. Without fungi, the carbon would remain locked in the dead matter, and the Earth's climate would be unbalanced. The fungi are the Earth's silent regulators. Another quiet wonder is the mycorrhizal networks. These are symbiotic relationships between fungi and plant roots. The fungi grow around the roots and exchange nutrients with the plants. In return, the plants provide the fungi with sugars. This relationship is a beautiful example of cooperation. The fungi help the plants absorb water and minerals from the soil, while the plants provide the fungi with energy. It is a partnership that has evolved over millions of years. The fungi are the Earth's hidden communication network, sending messages of nutrients and water across the landscape. You might ask, why do fungi work so slowly? Why don't they break down matter faster? The answer is in their nature. Fungi are not in a hurry. They work with a calm purpose, like the tide that moves slowly across the shore. They do not rush the decomposition process. This is because the process requires time and precision. The fungi must break down the complex molecules without damaging the nutrients. If they worked too quickly, they would release the nutrients too early, before the plants could use them. The slow pace ensures that the nutrients are available when they are needed. In the mountains of Norway, where the soil is thin and the climate is harsh, the fungi have adapted to work even more slowly. They form thick mats that protect the soil from erosion. In the warm forests of the Amazon, the fungi work faster but still with a gentle rhythm. This variation shows how the fungi have evolved to work in harmony with their environment. They are not a single species, but a vast family of organisms, each adapted to its own place in the cycle. The fungi also help the soil stay healthy. By breaking down dead matter, they create a rich, dark soil that is full of nutrients. This soil is where new life grows. Without the fungi, the soil would be barren and lifeless. The fungi are the Earth's hidden gardeners, tending to the soil with quiet care. Imagine the forest floor at night. The moon casts a soft light on the damp earth. The mycelium glows with a subtle internal light. It is alive, but not in the way we think of animals. It is a slow, steady pulse, a rhythm that matches the Earth's own heartbeat. The fungi are not loud or visible, but they are present. They are the Earth's silent voice, speaking in the language of decomposition. A researcher once shared, "The forest floor is not a graveyard, but a living laboratory of decomposition." This is true. The dead matter is not a burden, but a resource. The fungi turn it into something new. They are the Earth's most patient workers, the quiet recyclers that keep the cycle flowing. The process of decomposition by fungi is not just about breaking down matter, it is about renewal. The dead become the living. The cycle continues. The fungi work without rest, without complaint, without urgency. They do their work in the quiet, in the stillness, in the darkness. They are the Earth's hidden hands that turn the dead into the living. As we think about this, we might wonder what happens to the fungi themselves. Do they die? Do they become part of the cycle? Yes. When the mycelium reaches the end of its life, it too becomes part of the soil. It breaks down and releases its nutrients, becoming food for other organisms. The cycle continues, and the fungi are always there, working quietly. This is the beauty of the Earth's recycling system. It is a cycle that has been happening for billions of years. It is a cycle that is both simple and profound. The fungi are the quiet workers, the gentle hands that keep the Earth alive. They work without sound, without speed, without haste. They are the Earth's most patient recyclers. In the stillness of the forest, you can almost hear the quiet hum of this process. It is a sound that is not loud but deep, a rhythm that matches the pulse of the Earth itself. This is the Earth's quiet song, the song of the recyclers who keep the cycle alive. They are the Earth's hidden hands, the silent workers that turn the dead into the living. This is the cycle that sustains us all. It is the rhythm of the Earth, the quiet pulse that keeps life flowing. The fungi are the Earth's most patient recyclers, working in the dark, in the quiet, in the stillness. They turn the dead into the living, one thread at a time. This is the Earth's quiet song, and it continues forever. Imagine the vast underground world, a realm of silent activity that operates beneath your feet. Here, in the dark and damp soil, a network of living threads weaves through the earth, turning the dead into the living. These threads, the mycelium, are the unseen architects of decomposition. They secrete powerful enzymes that dissolve the complex structures of dead plants and animals, breaking them down into simple molecules that the Earth's living systems can reuse. This process is the foundation of life on land. As the mycelium works, it releases nutrients, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, back into the soil. This cycle ensures that the Earth remains a vibrant, self-sustaining system. Without this process, life on land would be impossible. The dead matter of fallen leaves and decomposing wood becomes a source of life, not a burden. The mycelium transforms death into nourishment. The fungi's role in the carbon cycle is equally vital. They break down organic carbon, releasing carbon dioxide back into the atmosphere. This process helps regulate the Earth's climate. In the deep soil, the mycelium forms a vast network that connects plants, animals, and microorganisms in a continuous cycle of life and death. This network is the Earth's hidden infrastructure. When you walk on the forest floor, you may not see the work of these silent helpers, but beneath your feet, they are at work, turning the dead into the living. Have you ever wondered how the fallen tree becomes part of the next tree? The mycelium is the answer. It connects the living and the dead, creating a seamless flow of energy and nutrients. The process is slow but steady. It takes years for a large tree to decompose, but the mycelium works tirelessly day and night. In the quiet hours of the night, when the world sleeps, the fungi are most active, their threads spreading like a gentle rain of life. This quiet song continues without pause. Fungi are the Earth's quiet recyclers, turning the dead into the living without a sound. This is the rhythm of the Earth, a continuous flow that has sustained life for billions of years. The cycle never stops, the Earth never sleeps. The dead become the living become the dead, and the cycle continues. This is the Earth's quiet song. This cycle, this quiet song, flows through the Earth, connecting all life. The soil beneath your feet, that quiet, damp embrace, holds more than just earth and water. It holds a silent conversation, a vast, ancient dialogue that has unfolded beneath the surface for billions of years. Picture this, a single drop of rain falling into the soil, a tiny pulse of life dissolving into the dark. From that moment, a network of life begins to stir. It is not the roots you see, nor the trees you know, but something far older, far more subtle, that gently connects them. This is the Mycorrhizal partnership, a quiet, enduring alliance between fungi and plant roots that has shaped the very fabric of life on land. It is a relationship that whispers of reciprocity, of shared resources, of a deep, unbreakable bond that has held the Earth together long before the first human footprint was made. Imagine your own roots, deep and searching for water and nutrients, stretching toward the sun. Now picture a faint, glowing thread, almost invisible, weaving through the soil. This is the mycelium, the living network of fungal threads that extends far beyond the plant's visible roots. It is a delicate, resilient architecture, a silent scaffold that connects plants across vast distances. These threads, no wider than a human hair, carry messages, nutrients, and even water, forming a living web that binds the land together. The partnership begins when a fungal spore lands in the soil, germinates, and seeks out a plant root. The fungus gently envelops the root, creating a symbiotic relationship that is both intimate and enduring. This is not a one-sided gift. It is a mutual exchange, a quiet dance of give and take that has evolved over millennia. The plant provides the fungus with sugars, carbohydrates made through photosynthesis in the leaves. These sugars are the energy the fungus needs to grow and thrive. In return, the fungus acts as a vital extension of the plant's root system, helping it absorb water and essential nutrients, especially phosphorus and nitrogen. This exchange is not simple. It is a complex, living dialogue. The fungal network, once established, extends far beyond the plant's immediate vicinity, reaching into the soil and even connecting with other plants. This creates a shared resource pool, a kind of underground community where plants can support one another. In times of drought, for example, a tree that has access to this network can share water with a neighboring plant that is struggling. It is a silent, gentle sharing that happens without words. Have you ever wondered how trees communicate across vast distances? This is where the mycorrhizal network comes in. When a tree is stressed by drought, the fungal network sends signals to other trees, helping them access deeper water sources. This communication is not loud or abrupt. It is a quiet, persistent whisper. The network acts like a nervous system for the forest, a silent network that helps plants stay connected, even when they are far apart. One researcher described it this way: the mycelium is the plant's nervous system, the silent thread that connects life across the land. This network allows plants to share resources not only with their immediate neighbors, but with other plants in the same ecosystem. It is a living, breathing web that helps forests thrive. The beauty of this relationship lies in its adaptability. Different types of fungi form partnerships with different plants. Some fungi, like those that partner with orchids, create intricate, specialized relationships that are almost like a language of their own. Orchids, which often grow in nutrient-poor soil, rely entirely on these fungi for survival. The fungi, in turn, receive sugars from the orchid. This relationship is so precise that it has evolved over hundreds of thousands of years. The fungi have adapted to the specific needs of the orchid, and the orchid has evolved to provide the exact nutrients the fungi require. It is a partnership that is both delicate and deeply rooted. Another example of this partnership's power is in the forests of the Pacific Northwest. Here, trees like Douglas firs and Sitka spruce form strong mycorrhizal bonds with fungi that thrive in cold, wet conditions. During the winter, when the soil is frozen and water is scarce, the fungal network helps the trees access deeper moisture. The trees, in turn, provide the fungi with sugars that the fungi use to grow. This mutual support is essential for survival in such harsh environments. It is a quiet strength, a resilience that emerges from the simple act of sharing. The forest does not struggle alone, it thrives together. This partnership is not limited to trees. It exists in grasslands, in wetlands, in even the smallest patches of soil. It is a universal thread that connects life across the planet. In the desert, where water is scarce, the mycorrhizal network helps plants access deep groundwater. In the rainforests, where nutrients are scarce, the fungi help plants absorb the minerals they need. This relationship is a testament to nature's ingenuity. It has evolved to overcome even the most challenging environments. It is a quiet force that has helped life flourish for hundreds of millions of years. The fungi themselves are not passive participants. They actively seek out the plants they will partner with, using chemical signals to find the right host. Once the partnership is established, the fungi extend their hyphae, thin, thread-like structures, deep into the soil. These hyphae create a vast network that can span hundreds of meters. This network is not just a physical connection. It is a living, breathing system that transports water and nutrients to the plant roots. The plant, in turn, provides the fungus with sugars that the fungus uses to grow. It is a cycle that repeats itself, a gentle rhythm that has been perfected over time. When the soil is disturbed by natural events or human activity, the mycorrhizal network can be disrupted, but the system is resilient. If the network is broken, it can slowly regenerate. This resilience is key to the health of the ecosystem. The network acts as a kind of early warning system, signaling when resources are scarce or when the soil is stressed. It is a quiet guardian that helps the land stay balanced. One of the most fascinating aspects of this partnership is how it has shaped the evolution of plants. As plants evolved over time, they developed specialized structures to interact with fungi. For example, Some plants have evolved roots that are specifically designed to host fungi, while others have developed chemical signals that attract the right fungi. This co-evolution has created a complex dance of adaptation that has helped plants survive in diverse environments. The relationship is not static. It is constantly evolving, responding to changes in the environment. Think about it, this relationship has been going on for hundreds of millions of years. It is a partnership that has endured through ice ages, mass extinctions, and even the rise and fall of entire ecosystems. It is a testament to the resilience of life. The fungi and plants have worked together in harmony for so long that their partnership is now a fundamental part of the planet's biology. It is a quiet, unassuming force that has helped shape the forests, the grasslands, and the very soil beneath our feet. The mycorrhizal network also plays a crucial role in the health of the soil itself. By breaking down organic matter and recycling nutrients, the fungi help maintain the soil's structure and fertility. This is especially important in areas where soil erosion is a problem. The network acts like a natural anchor, holding the soil together and preventing it from washing away during heavy rains. In this way, the partnership is not just about the plant and the fungus. It is about the health of the entire ecosystem. Have you ever felt the soil beneath your feet? It is a living, breathing entity, a silent partner that has been there for eons. It is a cradle for life, a place where the quiet whispers of the mycorrhizal network create a steady rhythm. This network is not loud or visible. It works in the shadows, in the quiet moments between the raindrops. It is a reminder that even the smallest connections can have the greatest impact. The partnership between fungi and plants is a gentle, enduring force that has helped life on Earth thrive for billions of years. This quiet exchange is what makes the land feel alive. When you walk in the forest, the rustle of leaves, the whisper of wind, the feeling of the earth beneath your feet, all of it is part of this ancient dialogue. The mycorrhizal network is the silent thread that connects everything. It is a reminder that life is not solitary. It is a tapestry woven from countless small connections, each one gentle and persistent. This partnership has been a quiet force for survival, a steady rhythm that has helped the earth endure. It is a testament to the wisdom of nature, a silent conversation that has been unfolding for eons. In this quiet exchange, the plants and fungi do not speak in words. They communicate through the language of nutrients, of water, of shared survival. They whisper of possibility, of resilience, of a deep, unbreakable bond that has held the land together. It is a partnership that has evolved over time, one that has weathered storms and seasons. This is how life finds its rhythm, the gentle, persistent whisper of mycorrhizal partnerships that cradles the earth and supports the life that grows within it. In this quiet dialogue, the land breathes, it thrives, it remembers, it connects. This is how the earth sustains itself, one gentle thread at a time. This is the quiet strength of life. This is how the land remembers. This is how life finds its rhythm. This is how the earth keeps its promise. This is the quiet strength of life. In the quiet corners of the world where the environment is most unforgiving, a living marvel has endured for eons. This is the lichen, a delicate partnership between a fungus and a photosynthetic partner that defies the odds in places where few other living things can survive. Imagine a world where life persists in the harshest conditions: the scorching emptiness of desert wastelands, the freezing silence of polar ice, the high-altitude deserts of mountains, and the remote, sun-scorched rocks of deserts. These places hold no life as we know it, yet lichens thrive there. They are not a single organism, but a symbiotic relationship, a collaboration of two distinct life forms that work together to create a resilient existence. This partnership has evolved over hundreds of millions of years, adapting to conditions that would destroy most living things. The fungal partner provides structure and protection, forming a protective outer layer that shields the photosynthetic partner from the elements. The algal or cyanobacterial partner, through photosynthesis, creates food for the fungus. This exchange is a continuous cycle of mutual benefit, where the fungus offers a stable environment for the algae to carry out photosynthesis, while the algae provide carbohydrates and oxygen. In the extreme environments where lichens grow, this relationship becomes even more critical. The fungus absorbs water and minerals from the air, soil, or rock surfaces, while the algae convert sunlight into energy. This delicate balance allows them to survive in conditions where water is scarce, temperatures fluctuate wildly, and nutrients are absent. When a lichen colony forms on a barren rock, it begins as a single spore of fungus that lands and germinates. Over time, it attracts microscopic algae or cyanobacteria, which then start the photosynthetic process. This slow, patient development is how lichens colonize the most inhospitable places. Consider the deserts, where the sun beats down with relentless intensity. Here, lichens grow in the cracks of sandstone, their thin, flexible structures capturing moisture from the air during rare rain events. In the polar regions, lichens cling to ice sheets, their green color sometimes visible against the white expanse. They endure temperatures that plummet below freezing and rise to near boiling points during the day. In high mountains, lichens form on rocky outcrops, exposed to winds that carry abrasive particles and extreme temperature shifts. These environments are not just harsh, they are lifeless zones where the very concept of survival seems impossible. Yet lichens persist, their presence a quiet testament to the resilience of life. They are the first colonizers, the pioneers that gradually transform barren landscapes into habitats for other life forms. Over centuries, they contribute to soil formation, breaking down rock into smaller particles that can be used by plants. This process is slow, almost imperceptible, but it is vital for the development of ecosystems. The symbiosis between fungus and alga is not just a survival strategy, it is a sophisticated adaptation. The fungal partner produces a complex network of hyphae that absorb water and nutrients from the environment, while the photosynthetic partner creates food through photosynthesis. This exchange happens in a continuous loop, where the algae provide carbohydrates and oxygen, and the fungus provides protection from harsh conditions. In the most extreme environments, this relationship becomes even more intricate. For instance, in deserts, lichens can survive by drawing water from the air through specialized structures, while in polar regions, They form thick, waxy layers to retain moisture. Their ability to withstand desiccation and temperature extremes is the result of millions of years of evolution, a testament to how life adapts to challenges beyond human comprehension. When you find a lichen growing on a rock, you are seeing the result of this ancient partnership, nature's quiet rebellion against the limits of survival. Lichens also play a crucial role in the health of ecosystems. They act as natural indicators of air quality because their sensitivity to pollutants makes them valuable for monitoring environmental conditions. In urban areas, lichens can signal the presence of sulfur dioxide or other harmful substances, helping scientists track air quality. In remote regions, they serve as the first step in the development of soil, gradually breaking down rock into smaller particles that can support plant life. This process is slow but essential, creating the foundation for more complex ecosystems. Lichens also contribute to the nitrogen cycle, fixing atmospheric nitrogen into a usable form for other organisms. Their presence indicates a healthy environment as they require specific conditions to thrive. Without lichens, many ecosystems would remain barren, unable to support the diversity of life we observe today. Historically, lichens have been studied for centuries. Early naturalists recognized their unique characteristics, noting that they could grow on rocks without soil and survive in conditions that seemed impossible for life. The symbiosis was not fully understood until the 19th century, when scientists began to dissect the relationship between the fungus and the alga. This discovery revolutionized our understanding of how life persists in extreme environments. Lichens have also been used by indigenous cultures for centuries, providing food, medicine, and materials for tools. Today, they continue to inspire scientific research, offering insights into how life adapts to environmental stress. Their ancient history reminds us that resilience is not a new concept. It has been present in the natural world for eons, quietly shaping the planet. In the quiet moments of observation, lichens invite us to slow down and reconsider what we think is possible. They exist in places where life seems to have no place, yet they thrive. They are a reminder that even in the most challenging circumstances, there is life, small, persistent, and deeply interconnected. When you walk in a desert and see a patch of green on a rock, or in a frozen landscape where a thin layer of lichen glows in the sunlight, you are witnessing nature's quiet strength. This partnership has endured for hundreds of millions of years, adapting to conditions that would destroy most living things. It is a story of patience, cooperation, and the enduring power of life. A lichenologist once observed that lichens are the Earth's oldest living witnesses, silently recording the planet's history through their slow growth and adaptation. They speak of ancient survival, of life finding a way even when the world seems to have forgotten it. This quiet resilience is not just a biological phenomenon, it is a metaphor for how life persists in the face of overwhelming challenges. Imagine yourself standing in a desert at dawn, the sun still low on the horizon. Feel the dry air, hear the silence. Now imagine a tiny lichen colony growing in the cracks of the sandstone. It is not a large plant, nor does it need water. It draws moisture from the air itself. This lichen is breathing, photosynthesizing, living in a place where no other life can survive. It is a small, fragile thing, yet it is strong. It is quiet, yet it speaks of resilience. It is a reminder that life finds a way, even when the world seems to have forgotten it. This is the lichen story, not of grand displays or dramatic victories, but of quiet persistence. It is a story of partnership, of two life forms working together to create something greater than themselves. It is a story that has been unfolding for hundreds of millions of years, and it continues to unfold today. As we move through the world, we can find lichens in the smallest corners, on rocks, in cracks, on trees. They are silent teachers, reminding us that even in the most difficult places, life endures. The lichen's journey from a single spore to a thriving colony is a testament to nature's patience. It is a story that has been written in the earth itself, a quiet narrative of survival that continues to unfold. As we conclude this chapter, let the lichen's presence guide us into the next stage of understanding, where we explore how life's resilience extends beyond the lichen, into the vast and intricate web of existence. The world is not empty of life. It is simply waiting for us to look closely enough to see it. Indeed, the world holds life in its quiet corners, waiting for the gentle turn of a thought to reveal its wonders. Consider the deep ocean, a realm that seems utterly devoid of light and life, yet teeming with organisms that have adapted to pressures 1,000 times greater than the atmosphere. Here in the abyssal plains, the darkness is absolute and the silence profound, yet life persists with a quiet tenacity that defies expectation. Have you ever wondered how life can exist in such extreme conditions? The answer lies in the remarkable symbiosis that has evolved over millions of years. For instance, the tube worms that thrive near hydrothermal vents in the ocean's depths have developed a unique relationship with bacteria. These bacteria convert the chemical energy from the vents into food, while the worms provide a protective environment and nutrients. This partnership is a prime example of how life finds a way to survive in environments that seem impossible. As the oceanographer Robert Ballard once observed, the deep sea holds the keys to understanding life's resilience. This statement resonates deeply when we consider the vast number of species that have evolved to live in these extreme conditions. One such species is the giant tube worm, which can grow up to 3 meters in length. Its body is lined with specialized blood vessels carrying hemoglobin adapted to function under immense pressure. This hemoglobin allows the worm to extract oxygen efficiently in water, where the pressure rivals 1,000 atmospheres, a pressure that would crush most life forms on Earth. Another fascinating adaptation is the role of chemosynthesis. In areas near hydrothermal vents, bacteria convert inorganic substances like hydrogen sulfide into organic compounds, creating a food chain entirely independent of sunlight. This process sustains entire ecosystems, from microscopic bacteria to giant tube worms and crustaceans. The deep sea's extreme conditions have also driven extraordinary evolutionary innovations. Temperature fluctuations here range from near freezing at the surface to over 400 degrees Celsius near hydrothermal vents. Organisms have developed specialized proteins that remain functional at these extremes, and their cellular structures are highly flexible to prevent collapse under pressure. For example, the giant isopods that inhabit the deep sea possess a thick, flexible exoskeleton that resists compression while maintaining mobility. Similarly, the deep-sea jellyfish have evolved to detect minute vibrations in water using a lateral line system, allowing them to hunt in total darkness. These adaptations highlight life's incredible ability to thrive where it seems least likely. The deep-sea ecosystem operates as a closed loop, where every organism plays a vital role. Even the smallest bacteria contribute to the food web, converting inorganic matter into energy that fuels larger creatures. This interdependence is a testament to the intricate balance of life. In areas like the Mariana Trench, the deepest point on Earth, the pressure reaches 1,086 atmospheres. Yet life persists here in abundance, with species like the hadopelagic fish adapted to survive in near-total darkness and extreme cold. The discovery of over 500 new species in recent expeditions underscores the ocean's vast biodiversity, much of which remains unexplored. The deep sea also plays a critical role in Earth's climate system. It acts as a global carbon sink, absorbing excess carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and helping regulate the planet's temperature. This process, however, is delicate and vulnerable to human disruption. The ocean covers more than 70% of Earth's surface and is estimated to host 10 million species, yet less than 1% has been explored. This gap in knowledge highlights both the urgency of conservation and the potential for groundbreaking discoveries. Technologies like deep-sea submersibles and remotely operated vehicles, ROVs, are increasingly revealing how life has adapted to survive in conditions that challenge our very understanding of biology. In conclusion, the deep sea is a realm of wonder and mystery, where life has evolved to survive in environments that seem impossible. It is a reminder that the most extraordinary things are often found in the least expected places. As Robert Ballard wisely stated, the deep sea holds the keys to understanding life's resilience. This resilience is not a sign of weakness, but rather a testament to the adaptability and intelligence of living organisms. By studying these ecosystems, we gain profound insights into the resilience of life itself, and the urgent need to protect Earth's most remote and fragile habitats. The deep sea teaches us that even in the darkest corners of our planet, life persists, adapts, and endures. When you close your eyes and breathe in the soft scent of rain on soil, you might feel the ancient whisper of life that has been growing beneath your feet for eons. This is the quiet language of fungi, the silent partners in the dance of life that has shaped our world. They are not the noisy giants of the forest, but the gentle companions that have been weaving their presence into the fabric of existence since before the first human footstep. In the deep earth, in the shadowed corners of the forest, in the quiet corners of our kitchens and pharmacies, fungi have played a role in human life that is both vast and intimate. They are the hidden storytellers of the earth, the quiet architects of our food, the gentle healers in our bodies, and the subtle guardians of our health. For thousands of years, humans have turned to fungi for sustenance, finding in their delicate forms the building blocks of life. The bread that rises in your kitchen, the cheese that melts on your tongue, the wine that glows with golden light. These are all the result of a relationship that began long before the first written word. Fungi have been the unsung collaborators in the kitchen, the quiet partners that transform simple grains and vegetables into the nourishment we cherish. In the ancient world, the mycologist who studied the earth's hidden life would often say, "The soil breathes with the stories of fungi, and in that breath, we find the foundations of our existence." The process of fermentation, the gentle transformation of food by fungi, is a natural alchemy that has been practiced for millennia. When grains are soaked in water and left to rest, the fungi begin to work their magic, breaking down the starches and proteins into simpler forms that our bodies can absorb. This is how bread becomes soft and warm, how cheese develops its rich flavor, and how wine takes on its unique character. The yeasts, a type of fungus, are the gentle guides in this process, their tiny bodies multiplying in the dark and quiet places where they find the right conditions. They are not aggressive, but patient, working in the shadows to create the foods that sustain us. In the quiet moments of the laboratory, researchers observe the same gentle process that has been happening in the fields for centuries. One mycologist has shared, "The beauty of fermentation lies in its simplicity and the depth of its impact. It is a process that requires no force, only patience and the right conditions." This is the same process that has been used to create the first breads and the earliest cheeses, and it continues today to be the foundation of many of our most beloved foods. When you eat a slice of bread, you are not just consuming carbohydrates. You are tasting the slow, patient work of fungi that have been nurturing life for thousands of years. Fungi have also been the quiet healers of our bodies, their medicinal properties discovered in the slow dance of time. The antibiotic penicillin, which revolutionized medicine, was first discovered by a young scientist named Alexander Fleming in the 1920s. But the story of penicillin is not one of sudden discovery, but of patience and observation. Fleming was working in a lab when he noticed that a mold had grown on his culture plate, and it was this mold, a type of fungus, that produced the substance that would become penicillin. The mold was a quiet presence, almost invisible, and it was the scientist's careful attention that allowed the discovery to happen. In the language of fungi, there is a deep wisdom about healing that we have only recently begun to understand. The ancient Chinese text the classic of mountains and sees asterisk speaks of the fungi that grow in the forest, describing how they have the power to heal the body and the spirit. Modern research has confirmed that many fungi contain compounds that can fight infections and support the immune system. For example, Lentinus edodes, a type of mushroom, has been used in traditional medicine for centuries to treat inflammation and digestive issues. Today, scientists are discovering that certain fungi can stimulate the immune system to fight off viruses and bacteria without causing harm to healthy tissue. One researcher has shared, the most powerful medicines are often the quietest ones, hidden in the soil and the shadows, waiting for the right moment to be discovered. This is the story of how fungi have been the source of many of our most important medicines, from the antibiotics that save lives to the immune-boosting compounds that help the body fight off illness. When you take a pill or drink a tea, you are not just consuming chemicals. You are engaging with the ancient wisdom of fungi that have been working in harmony with life for eons. However, fungi are not always the gentle healers. In the shadow of their power, they can also be the source of disease and illness. The human body is a delicate ecosystem, and when the balance is disturbed, fungi can become harmful. There are many types of fungi that cause infections, from the simple skin infections to the more serious ones that affect the lungs or bloodstream. The most common fungal infections in humans are the ones that affect the skin, such as athlete's foot and ringworm. These infections are often not severe, but they can be uncomfortable and persistent. More serious infections, such as cryptococcal meningitis, can be life-threatening. When the immune system is weakened, fungi can take hold and cause illness. This is why it is important to maintain a strong immune system and to be mindful of the environment around us. In the quiet moments of the body, when the immune system is fighting off pathogens, fungi play a dual role. They can be the gentle allies that help the body heal, or the silent threats that disrupt the delicate balance. This duality is a reminder that life is not black and white, but a complex tapestry of interconnected forces. Just as the forest has a balance of life and death, so too does the human body. The fungi that live in the soil and on the skin are part of a larger ecosystem that must be respected and understood. The gentle wisdom of fungi teaches us that balance is key. Just as the forest has a balance of life and death, so too does the human body. The fungi that live in the soil and on the skin are part of a larger ecosystem that must be respected and understood. When we disrupt this balance through poor hygiene, weakened immunity, or environmental changes, fungi can become harmful. But when we honor the balance, they remain the gentle partners in our health. In the slow dance of life, we find that fungi are both the gentle partners and the quiet challenges. They are the hidden forces that have shaped our world, and they continue to do so in the quiet moments of our lives. When you think of the food you eat, the medicine that heals you, the very air you breathe, you are part of a larger story that has been written by the fungi. Do you feel the whisper of the fungi in the earth beneath you? When you close your eyes, what do you hear? The gentle rustle of the leaves, the soft sigh of the wind, the quiet breath of the earth. These are the sounds of a world that is deeply connected to the fungi that have been growing beneath us for eons. In the ancient forest, the fungi are the quiet architects of life, weaving the threads of existence with the same care that has been used for thousands of years. When you eat a slice of bread, you are tasting the slow, patient work of fungi that have been nurturing life for millennia. When you take medicine, you are engaging with the ancient wisdom of fungi that have been healing bodies for centuries. This is the story of fungi, the quiet partners in the dance of life that has been unfolding for eons. The earth breathes with the rhythm of ancient life, and in that breath, we find the foundations of our existence. In the quiet moments, when the world seems still, you can feel the presence of the fungi, the same ones that have been growing beneath your feet for thousands of years. They are not loud, but they are always there, a quiet presence that has shaped our world in the most profound ways. This is the cycle of life, the gentle growth, the patient transformation, the quiet healing, and the subtle challenges that keep us in balance. As you rest in the soft light of the evening, remember that you are part of a vast, interconnected web of life. Fungi are the silent threads that hold it all together, working in the shadows to create the nourishment, the healing, and the balance that sustain us. They are the quiet partners in the dance of life, the gentle guides that have been with us since the beginning of time. In the stillness, you can hear their whisper, "We are here and we are always here." This is the story of fungi, not as threats, but as partners in the dance of life. They remind us that life is not a battle of forces, but a harmonious interplay of growth, healing, and balance. When you eat bread, drink wine, or take medicine, you are not just consuming food or chemicals. You are engaging with the ancient wisdom of fungi that have been working in harmony with life for eons. This is the quiet power of fungi, to be both the gentle healers and the subtle challenges that keep us in balance. In the end, the earth breathes with the rhythm of ancient life, and in that breath, we find the foundations of our existence. They are the quiet partners in the dance of life, the gentle guides that have been with us since the beginning of time. This is the story of fungi, not as something to fear, but as something to honor, understand, and cherish. As you sleep tonight, let the quiet whisper of the earth carry you to rest. For in that rest, you will find the gentle presence of fungi, the same ones that have been growing beneath your feet for thousands of years. They are the silent partners in the dance of life, the quiet architects of our existence. This is the story of fungi, the gentle, patient, and profoundly important force that has shaped our world since time began. Beneath the forest floor, where sunlight barely touches the earth, a silent world begins to stir. You might think of roots as solitary anchors in the soil, but in truth, they are part of a vast, interconnected tapestry woven by the most ancient and gentle of life's architects, fungi. These threads of mycelium, finer than spider silk yet stronger than steel, stretch across the landscape, forming networks that bind trees, plants, and even distant ecosystems together in a language no one has ever heard, but which has been whispering for millions of years. Imagine the forest floor not as a surface of dirt and stones, but as a living membrane, pulsing with soft currents of information that flow between the earth and the sky. This is how life communicates without words, without neurons, without the frantic energy of sound or light. It is a conversation that happens in the quiet spaces between breaths, a dialogue that has existed long before humans walked the land and will endure long after we are gone. You might wonder how such a system works when there are no nerves, no electrical signals, no spoken words. The answer lies in the delicate chemistry of the mycelium itself. Fungi release chemical signals, substances that travel through the soil like whispers carried on the wind. These signals are not loud or immediate, but slow, deliberate, and deeply felt. When a tree is under stress from drought or disease, the mycelial network sends out a gentle pulse of chemicals that can be detected by neighboring plants. This is not a single message, but a complex conversation, a series of signals that grow stronger as the network expands. The mycelium acts as a living relay station, translating the needs of one plant into the language of another. It is a silent exchange that happens beneath the soil, yet it shapes the health of entire forests. Think of it as the earth itself breathing, sending out signals that help plants share water, nutrients, and even warnings about threats. This is how the forest becomes a single, breathing entity rather than a collection of separate beings. In the Pacific Northwest, where ancient cedars have stood for thousands of years, scientists have observed this communication in action. Dr. Aris Thorne, a mycologist who has spent decades studying these networks, describes the phenomenon with quiet awe. We don't have neurons, but we have a language. When one tree in the forest is struggling, the mycelium sends out a signal that helps the others. It's not a command, it's a gentle nudge, a reminder that we are all connected. This network, often called the Wood Wide Web, allows trees to share resources and information without ever meeting. In one experiment, scientists discovered that when a young tree was threatened by pests, the mycelial network sent signals to nearby trees, helping them develop stronger defenses. The communication is so subtle that it can take days for the signals to travel, but the impact is profound. It is a reminder that even in the most seemingly solitary parts of the world, life is never truly alone. This system is not limited to forests. In the humid soils of rainforests, where the air is thick with moisture, the mycelial networks are even more intricate. They form vast, interconnected webs that stretch across continents, linking plants that may never have met. Scientists have found that when a forest fire burns one area, the mycelium can send signals to plants in unburned regions, helping them prepare for the coming seasons. This communication is not random but purposeful, a careful balance of sharing and warning. The mycelium doesn't act like a nervous system. It doesn't send rapid pulses or sharp alerts. Instead, it works like a slow, steady current, a quiet understanding that grows with time and patience. It is a language that speaks in the silence between heartbeats, a dialogue that helps ecosystems heal after disruption. You might ask, how do we know this is real when there's no one to see it? The evidence comes from careful observation and the quiet patience of science. In laboratories, scientists have isolated the chemical signals that fungi use to communicate, and they have watched how these signals affect plant growth. One study showed that when trees were connected by mycelial networks, they shared water and nutrients more efficiently, especially during droughts. Another experiment revealed that plants with stronger connections to the mycelium were better at resisting pests and diseases. This isn't magic, it's biology in action, a natural process that has been honed over eons of evolution. The mycelium does not need to be loud or visible. It works in the background, like the slow rhythm of a heartbeat, helping the forest stay alive and resilient. This quiet communication is also a lesson in humility. We often think of ourselves as the most intelligent beings on Earth, but the mycelium teaches us that intelligence can be found in the simplest, most overlooked places. It doesn't need to be loud or fast. It works with patience and care. When a plant signals another through the mycelium, it is not a shout but a whisper, a gentle reminder that we are part of something larger than ourselves. This is a reminder that we do not live in isolation. Even in the darkest corners of the earth, there is a network that connects all living things, a silent language that helps keep the world balanced and alive. The mycelium is not a system of control, but a system of care, a way of life that has existed long before humans and will exist long after. Can you feel it? The slow pulse beneath your feet, the quiet hum of life that connects every root and every leaf. Close your eyes and imagine the forest floor as a vast, living membrane stretching from the tallest pine to the smallest wildflower. Picture the mycelium threads, thin as spider silk but strong as steel, carrying messages of water, nutrients, and hope. Feel the warmth of the earth as it breathes, sending out signals that help the forest heal. This is not a story of power or dominance, but of connection, of a shared life that exists in the quiet spaces between the world's noise. When you sleep, let this quiet dialogue settle in your mind, a gentle reminder that you are part of something much larger than yourself. The mycelium whispers to you, just as it whispers to the trees, just as it whispers to the earth itself. This ancient language of the forest has been waiting for you to understand it, not with words, but with the quiet attention of your heart. When you lie down at night, let the mycelial whispers carry you into the deep, restful spaces of your own mind. The forest is not just a place, it is a living, breathing companion, a silent friend that has been speaking to you all along. And as you drift into sleep, you will carry with you the gentle message of the mycelium, that we are all connected and that the quietest conversations hold the greatest power. This is how the earth speaks to us, and this is how we learn to listen. As you drift deeper into the velvet darkness of sleep, the earth's quiet language continues its steady rhythm beneath your feet. Imagine vast, thread-like networks spreading through soil like rivers of living light. These are the mycelial threads that form the silent communication channels of the forest floor. They stretch across landscapes, weaving through the roots of ancient oaks and the young shoots of wildflowers, creating a living tapestry that connects life in ways we never imagined. These networks are not passive. They actively exchange information, nutrients, and even warnings about environmental shifts, all without the need for neurons or complex brains. When rain falls on the soil, the mycelium responds with a gentle pulse of chemical signals. These messages travel through the earth like whispers carried on the wind, alerting nearby plants to the presence of water or potential threats. One study revealed how mycelial networks can share drought warnings across kilometers, helping trees in one area adjust their water use before conditions become critical. This is not mere coincidence. It is a deliberate, intricate system of communication that operates in the shadows between the roots of the world. The mycelium speaks in a language of subtle chemical shifts, where a single molecule of a fungal compound can signal the presence of a neighboring plant, a shifting soil condition, or even the arrival of a predator. The signals travel both slowly and swiftly. Some messages move through the soil at a pace that feels like the slow breath of the earth itself, hours or even days, while others ripple through the network with a speed that seems almost instantaneous. This dual rhythm mirrors the natural ebb and flow of life, the deep, steady pulse of survival, and the rapid, responsive adjustments to immediate needs. Think of it as the Earth's own nervous system, working without the need for centralized control. In this way, the mycelium becomes the silent conductor of a vast, interconnected ecosystem. David Horner, a mycologist who has spent decades studying these networks, describes the phenomenon with quiet wonder. The mycelium is not a passive network. It is a living conversation, one that begins long before the first leaf unfurls and continues long after the last root has died. His words echo the quiet strength of the system, a network that thrives on connection rather than isolation, sharing resources and information across boundaries that we do not even see. When a forest fire threatens the trees, the mycelial threads can reroute nutrients to the most vulnerable plants, ensuring survival where others would fall. This is the Earth's way of teaching resilience through silence, not shouting. Suzanne Simwa, a researcher who has mapped fungal networks in temperate forests, has observed how mycelial communication helps plants share nutrients during periods of scarcity. In drought, the mycelium acts like a hidden lifeline, she explains. It pulls water and minerals from deep soil layers and delivers them to plants that are struggling to survive. Her work shows that this system is not just a survival mechanism, but a profound act of interdependence, one that has been evolving for millions of years. It is a reminder that even the smallest life forms can create networks of connection that sustain entire ecosystems. As you drift further into sleep, imagine the mycelial threads reaching across the soil, carrying messages that have traveled for centuries. They speak of the past, the present, and the future, of roots that share stories and of life that thrives in harmony. When you feel the weight of the world pressing in, close your eyes and picture these threads gently cradling your roots. Feel the quiet rhythm of the Earth's language as it speaks to you. We are not alone, we are connected. And in the stillness, we find what we need most. This is how the Earth whispers to us in the language of mycelium, how the quietest conversations hold the greatest power. When you dream of roots reaching across the Earth, remember that the mycelium has been listening to you long before you began to sleep. It carries the message that we are all part of a greater whole, a living web that stretches from the deepest soil to the highest sky. In this way, the Earth teaches us that connection is not something we find, it is something we already are. When you wake, you will carry this knowledge within you, like a quiet seed of understanding. The mycelium has shown us that even in the darkest soil, light can grow. Even in the quietest moments, we are part of a vast, living conversation. So let the Earth's whispers guide you. Let the mycelial threads remind you that you are not alone, but deeply connected to all that lives and thrives around you. What happens when you dream of roots reaching across the Earth? Do you feel the gentle pull of the mycelium? When you wake, you will know. Because in the quietest places, the earth speaks the truth we all need to hear. We are all connected. The night breathes softly through the ancient trees. You can feel the slow pulse of life beneath your feet, a gentle rhythm that has existed for millions of years. This is the quiet language of the earth, spoken not in words but in the slow, patient movements of the fungal world. Beneath the soil, in the damp shadows of forests, and even within the hidden layers of your own body, fungi have been silent partners for eons. They are not the flashy, visible life, but the quiet architects of stability. Their networks stretch far beyond what we see, weaving through the roots of the oldest trees, connecting distant ecosystems, and holding the very fabric of life together. This is the story of fungi, ancient, resilient, and profoundly connected to everything around us. Imagine the mycelium, that vast, invisible network beneath the ground. It is not a single thread, but a living tapestry, a slow, steady flow of life that has guided the planet for countless generations. Think of it as the Earth's own nervous system, communicating and sharing resources without ever needing to speak. This network is not just a biological marvel, it is the silent cradle of health and balance. When you walk through a forest at dawn, the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves carries a message from this deep network. It whispers of resilience, of adaptation, of a life that has endured through ice ages and climate shifts. Fungi have always been here, working quietly, teaching us how to live in harmony with the planet. In the quiet corners of health research, scientists are discovering how fungi offer profound solutions. Dr. Sarah G. Johnson, a mycopharmaceutical researcher at the University of Oregon, explains that fungi produce compounds capable of healing the body in ways no other organism can. The most remarkable thing about fungi is their ability to create molecules that interact with our immune systems, she says. They don't just passively exist, they actively communicate with our cells, helping to regulate inflammation and support healing. Her work focuses on fungal extracts that have shown promise in treating chronic inflammation, a condition affecting millions of people worldwide. These extracts work by calming the body's response to stress, much like a gentle hand resting on a troubled heart. When you feel the tightness in your chest or the ache in your joints, imagine the mycelium reaching out, not with force, but with a deep, soothing presence that helps your body find its natural balance. One powerful example is the use of specific fungi in probiotic treatments. In recent years, scientists have developed strains of yeast and molds that help strengthen the gut microbiome. These fungi act like quiet allies within your digestive tract, supporting the natural balance of bacteria that protect against illness. They do this not by overwhelming the system, but by gently encouraging the body to maintain its own harmony. Think of them as the Earth's own natural caregivers, working in the shadows to keep your internal environment healthy and resilient. When you eat a meal that includes these beneficial fungi, you are not just consuming food, you are nourishing the quiet network that supports your entire body. The immune system, often misunderstood as a battleground of defense, is actually a delicate ecosystem that fungi help maintain. Dr. Johnson describes how certain fungal species release molecules that signal to immune cells without triggering a full inflammatory response. It's like a whisper, she says. The body responds with a gentle understanding, not a sudden alarm. This subtle interaction is crucial for preventing autoimmune disorders and supporting recovery after illness. When you feel your body working to heal, imagine the fungal network sending messages of calm, helping your immune system find its rhythm again. This is not a forceful intervention, but a quiet partnership, one that has evolved over millions of years to keep life flowing steadily. Beyond the human body, fungi are quietly reshaping the health of the planet itself. In the soil, where life thrives in the most unexpected places, fungi form intricate networks that sustain the entire ecosystem. Dr. Kenji Tanaka, a soil ecologist at Kyoto University, has spent decades studying these relationships. The mycorrhizal fungi, he explains, are the silent partners of the plant kingdom. They connect plant roots, share water and nutrients, and protect against disease. Without them, forests would collapse. His research shows that these fungal networks act like a vast, living web that stabilizes the soil, preventing erosion and storing carbon. When you walk through a field of healthy grass, you are walking on a network of life that has been quietly maintaining balance for centuries. This deep connection extends to the environment in ways we are only beginning to understand. Fungi are nature's most efficient recyclers, breaking down complex materials like wood, leaves, and even plastic. In areas where pollution has left the earth wounded, fungi are emerging as the ultimate cleanup crew. Dr. Elena Petrova, a mycorrhizal specialist at the University of Cambridge, has led teams that use fungi to treat oil spills and contaminated soil. Fungi don't just break down pollutants, she says, they transform them into harmless substances, turning the damage into healing. Her work demonstrates that even in the harshest environments, like the aftermath of industrial disasters, fungi can restore balance with remarkable speed and quiet determination. They work not with force, but with patience, slowly dissolving toxins into the Earth's natural cycle. One of the most exciting applications of fungal research is in carbon capture. Scientists have discovered that certain fungi, when grown in soil, can absorb carbon dioxide from the air and store it deep within the earth. This process, called carbon sequestration, helps counteract climate change without disrupting the natural flow of life. Dr. Tanaka explains that these fungi work in tandem with trees and plants, creating a living system that stores carbon for centuries. It's a slow, steady process, he says, like the earth breathing deeply. This natural mechanism is not a sudden fix, but a long-term solution, one that aligns with the quiet rhythm of the planet itself. When you feel the wind moving through the trees, imagine the fungal networks gently holding the carbon within, creating a silent buffer against the forces of change. The potential for fungi to heal our environment extends even further. In communities affected by natural disasters, fungi are being used to restore ecosystems after fires or floods. They break down the debris, enrich the soil, and help new life emerge. This is not a technological solution, but a return to the Earth's natural wisdom. Fungi have always been the first responders in times of crisis, working with the quiet strength of resilience. When you think about the land after a storm, picture the mycelium reaching out, not to fix what is broken, but to mend what has been torn apart. As we explore these possibilities, it's important to ask, how can we ensure that this knowledge serves us without disrupting the delicate balance we've been part of? The answer lies in listening to the quiet voices of the earth. Fungi teach us that healing is not about control, but about harmony. They remind us that the most powerful changes happen not in bursts of action, but in the steady, patient work of connection. When you feel the earth beneath you, imagine the mycelium sending messages of calm, helping your body and the planet find their natural rhythm again. This is where the future of health and environment meets the past. Fungi have been the silent partners of life for eons, guiding the planet through change with quiet resilience. Their networks are not just biological systems, but living connections that support everything from the smallest insect to the largest forest. As we move forward, we must honor this ancient wisdom. We must learn to work with the earth as fungi do, calmly, steadily, without force. This is not a future we create alone. It is a future we share with the silent partners who have always been here, helping us find balance. Have you ever felt the quiet pulse of life beneath your feet? It is not a sound, but a presence. It is the slow, steady rhythm of the mycelium, the silent network that has sustained life for millions of years. This is the language of the earth, spoken in the language of fungi. It is a language that teaches us to heal, to balance, and to rest. When you close your eyes at night, feel that pulse. Let it guide you back to the earth. This is how we will sleep. This is how we will heal. This is how we will live. This is how we will sleep. The same pulse that has been beating in the soil for millions of years. Fungi, the unsung architects of life, are weaving a tapestry of connection that spans from the deepest roots of forests to the farthest corners of our own bodies. In the shadows of the earth, mycelial networks stretch like threads of light, binding trees together in a silent conversation. This is the mycorrhizal web, the ancient internet of the planet, where nutrients flow and warnings travel. A mycologist recently shared, the mycelial networks are the Earth's nervous system, connecting every root and every organism in a silent symphony. This web is not just for the plants. It extends into the soil where it meets the water, the air, and the living things that share our world. The same fungi that grow in the dark soil are also found in the human gut, where they help regulate our immune system and mental health. Imagine the quiet dance of trillions of fungal cells working in harmony with our own cells, like a gentle tide rising and falling with the moon. Have you ever wondered how the earth remembers the past? Fungi have a memory. They store information in their mycelial threads, much like how ancient forests hold the stories of their own growth. This memory helps them adapt to changing conditions, from drought to flood. In the quiet hours of the night, when the world sleeps, the mycelium continues its work, a silent guardian of the earth. The humble yeast that turns sugar into alcohol is also the source of life-saving medications. In the 1940s, penicillin was discovered from a mold growing on a bread mold. Today, scientists are discovering new fungal compounds that can fight cancer, boost immunity, and even help with mental health. A leading researcher in medicinal mycology noted, "The potential of fungi is vast. We are only beginning to unlock their role in healing the human body." Fungi also act as nature's cleanup crew. They break down pollutants that would otherwise harm the land and water. In the quiet of the forest, fungi digest the dead leaves and wood, returning nutrients to the soil. But in the wake of environmental disasters, fungi have shown remarkable resilience. After oil spills, certain fungi can absorb the oil and break it down, cleaning the environment without the need for harsh chemicals. This is the silent work of the Earth's own healers. Can the same fungi that have been working in the soil for eons help us heal the planet? Yes. The mycelial networks are already doing the work of repair, weaving a tapestry of life from the broken pieces. They remember the past and help the present grow stronger. Imagine a world where the Earth's network of mycelium becomes the foundation for a healthier planet. A world where the air is clean, the soil is rich, and the human body is supported by the same fungi that have been working in the soil for millions of years. As we rest, the mycelium works beneath us, a gentle rhythm that has been present since the beginning of time. The same pulse that we feel in our own bodies is the same pulse that has been beating in the earth for millions of years. This is how we will live, connected, supported, and protected by the silent symphony of life. This is how we will sleep, with the earth's own heartbeat as a lullaby. The quiet hum of the mycelium is the sound of home. It is the sound of being part of something larger than ourselves. In the stillness of the night, when the world is at rest, we are not alone. The Earth's mycelium is there, weaving us into the fabric of life. We will live with this connection. We will sleep with this knowledge. The Earth's gentle pulse will guide us to rest.